AITA for confronting my business partner in front of our investors after discovering he was framing me for the fraud he was committing. I co-founded a company 5 years ago with someone I considered my closest professional ally. Last month, during an investor meeting I had not been told about, I arrived early and found documents being distributed that named me as the source of financial irregularities I had not committed. My partner did not know I was there. I need to tell you about the context of what I walked into before I tell you what I did, because the context is everything. Alex and I built this company from nothing. 5 years, early mornings, late nights, a shared vision that we had articulated in the same language because we had genuinely aligned on it. I trusted him the way you trust someone who has been in the room for every difficult conversation, every near failure, every moment of genuine doubt. He was my business partner, and I considered him a friend. For the past 8 months, our accounts had been showing irregularities that our accountant had flagged twice. The amounts were not catastrophic, but they were consistent, and they were growing. I had been investigating them and had not found an explanation I was satisfied with. I had been raising it with Alex, and he had been, in retrospect, very skillfully directing my attention elsewhere each time. I had not been invited to the investor meeting. It was not on my calendar. I found out about it because I came into the office early and saw the conference room being prepared and a car I recognized as belonging to one of our lead investors in the car park. I went to the conference room. The door was slightly open. I heard Alex's voice. I opened the door. There were 4 investors in the room. Alex was at the front. On the table in front of each investor was a document that I could read from where I stood. The document described a pattern of financial irregularities within the company. The document attributed those irregularities to one named individual. The name was mine. Alex saw me in the doorway. In the approximately 3 seconds that followed, I made a decision. I walked into the room. I sat down at the table. I said, "I apologize for being late. I wasn't invited. I would like to stay." Am I the asshole? Update 6 months later. Alex is facing criminal charges for fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. This is the outcome of an investigation initiated by the investors following my presence at that meeting, during which I presented the counter-documentation I had been building for 8 months without knowing what it was counter-documentation for. It turned out my investigation into the irregularities had inadvertently been building a case. I had been documenting what I was finding, querying what I was questioning, creating a paper trail of my own legitimate attempts to understand what was happening. When laid alongside the false narrative Alex had been constructing, the 2 pictures were incompatible and mine was verifiable. The company is still operating. I bought out Alex's share through a process that I will not detail here, except to say that my solicitor was worth every penny of her fees. We have a new CFO and an independent financial audit that runs quarterly. Alex's lawyer contacted mine to suggest that I had ambushed the investor meeting and that my presence had been deliberately disruptive. My solicitor replied, "I walked into a room where my name was being handed to investors on a document describing crimes I didn't commit. I sat down. I introduced myself. I stayed. I am not sorry about any of those 3 things. NTA or ITA. What would you have done in that doorway? Comment below.